Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Dan Cody, and this is where I give you commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let's talk about tonight's episode of NXT when Kalani Jordan explained herself and her actions. And may I just say, as far as her first showing as a heel, this is my thought, excuse me. Her facial expression, her outward appearance has shifted, which is good. Her attitude has shifted. When she did the promo, it took me a minute to really feel the villain inside of her. It took me a minute to really feel it because I still felt a little bit of her babyface side. I didn't really see a villainous tone in her voice. What I mean by that is when John Cena made his heel turn, everything, with the exception of his outfit, screamed heel. His tone was heel. His attitude was heel. With Kalani Jordan, my thing is everything was heel except it took me a minute to hear the heel in her voice. The words were a bit heelish. Why is it that, first of all, we don't cheer Simp19 like that because he's still a babyface. He's not a babyface, he's a heel. So we still don't cheer Simp19. But she made a good point about Cody Rhodes, which you want to do that. You want to do that when you're comparing yourself and explaining your heelish ways. So she did well with that. Although she has a point. But I'm going to tell you the part that I did not get past that I thought that was kind of good. And that was when she said that the only thing people focus on is big butts and catchphrases. I'm going to keep it PG. But when she said that particular line was pretty good, in my personal opinion. I don't know who that was supposed to allude to. I don't know if that alludes to Lola Vice, who we saw in the ring with Paxley and Izzy Dime, in an unfortunate losing effort against Fatal Influence. But I don't know if it was for Lola or was it for Jada Parker? Because that's the only couple of people most of us can think of. Although I personally am not looking at big butts. Don't worry. But in any event, I don't know if she's referring to that. Speaking of Jada Parker has been absent, which makes me wonder if Jada Parker is slowly but surely going over to the main roster. Maybe she's going to work with, I don't know, Jade Cargill and be one of the baddies. Now that Jade Cargill is heel and the new WWE Women's Champion on SmackDown. So we got to see how that turns out. I will be looking closely this Friday at some of the highlights to see what takes place. But back to business. Kalani, not a bad promo. The only thing was I didn't really hear it in her voice, but I heard it everywhere else. And that big butts and catchphrases, that was a good line to me in my personal opinion. Of course, I was surprised that Kalani won cleanly tonight against the Olympian female wrestler on NXT tonight in her first match. Then we find out that Kalani's going to be having a triple threat match somewhere down the line, I believe in New York City. You know who else is going to New York City? That Jezebel Blake Monroe, when she defends her NXT Women's North American Championship. Trick Williams and Ricky Saints continue to go at it, and I don't know if it's next week or if it's going to be in New York City, but they are going to be facing off soon in a last man standing match. Excuse me. In a last man standing match, and my money is on Ricky Saints. And where is Trick Williams going after this? I don't know. Also, as I mentioned about some people I haven't seen in a while, it was mentioned that Ava Rain will be talking about who is going to enter the John Cena tournament from NXT. I'll tell you, one of the guys I would love to see be a part of that tournament is Oba Femi. I would love to see him be a part of that tournament. As a matter of fact, I think Oba Femi and John Cena would have an incredible match at Saturday night's main event. However, I don't know if it's going to be Oba Femi. But to have Oba Femi in the tournament representing NXT, I think that should happen. Going forward, we saw Javon Evans successfully go up against Sugar on NXT tonight, and he dodged all the members of Dark State, which I thought was very cool. He was like Black Spider-Man in there. I thought that was awesome. And he won the match. I think he would make a great addition to the Cena tournament representing NXT. That's just someone else, in my humble opinion, that would do very well in that tournament. I think he should be in that. Oba Femi and Javon Evans should definitely be put in that tournament. Going forward, we had the main event of the evening. We saw the speed tournament with Ludwig Kaiser, who was behind that mask, by the way, successfully defeating the replica of Big Evil, Josh Briggs. We saw Zarya successfully advance in the women's speed tournament. Speaking of Zarya, I thought Zarya was hilarious when she did the John Cena sound as she was walking out of the locker room. I thought that was hilarious. But tonight we found out that if you say his name, Joe Hendry, Joe Hendry and Thea Hale appear, and they will be going face to face against all a-hole Ethan Page and Chelsea Green, who, by the way, got, how do I say this? I want to keep this PG. And this is the only time you will ever hear me say this, but tonight it was very entertaining to see all a-hole Ethan Page and Chelsea Green get pie-faced. We'll say that. Pie-face is legally appropriate in PG. So we can say pie-face. But they got it because they got pie all over their face. And they got pie cream all over their face. That's still PG. Okay, moving forward. In the end, tonight was a pretty interesting episode of NXT. Can't wait to see Saints and Trick Williams finally settle the score. In the meantime, I'm your host, Ian Cody. That's all the time I have for you today. And I'll be back with another review on all things wrestling.